Hello, hello, hello. Ah. How is everyone? Can you see and hear me all right? Mm. Whew. Bringing through this particular transmission has been quite interesting. There is some really amazing energy connected to Blue Ray Starseeds. And it is very near to my heart because during this transmission, you will probably often hear me say, like us, and things of that nature, or we, because this is part of the soul group of which I am also. And I guess that's where we'll start. That's where we'll start. Blue Ray Star Seeds. Hmm. It's kind of funny that we call them Blue Ray Star Seeds, actually, because it's not starseed in the way that we typically define what a starseed is. A lot of times people will feel into the energy of I am a starseed, and what they're feeling is a searching for home, a searching for home. Like, I don't feel at home here on this planet. Where is my actual home? Where is it that I actually belong? And so a resonance to the Pleiades or to Sirius or to Orion, Lyra, all of these other stellar dimensions will come through. And oh, yes, I identify with the trait characteristics of a vegan, that sort of thing. Blu-ray is not, it's not the same. There is a searching in the Blu-ray lineage. Maybe that's what we'll call it. Instead of Blu-ray Starseed, perhaps Blu-ray lineage is a better description of this energy, of what it means. It's not about I hail from a planet revolving around this star. It's more an answering of a call. Let's explore what the Blu-ray is, and that will help us circle into what it actually means to be of the Blu-ray lineage. The alchemical Blu-ray is an energy of deep compassion. It is connected to the throat chakra, to the deep heart, to the causal plane, and to our kind of like fourth eye. Like, not just the higher chakras, as they're called, but also the deepest aspects of the higher chakras. The blue ray is also held by an energy of deep compassion, which is the Mother Mary energy. If we think about the Mother Mary, her symbol, hi Scott, her symbol is ultimate compassion. When we go around the world and we see her visage, if we see the Mother Mary on a church, we understand at like a deep level that this is a place where those in need will find support, comfort. So when we feel this energy of the blue ray, we can start to feel into what it means to be of the blue ray lineage. Blue ray beings, those of us who've incarnated as part of the blue ray lineage, also blue ray starseeds is the other way that we talked about this, hold that same template. Going into difficult places, going into density, and being that beacon of light, that beacon of hope in those places. Can we feel what it means to be that? To open up and say, I am going now to a very difficult time, to a very difficult place. And I am so sensitive, I am going to feel all of it. I'm going to feel every bit of it. And yet, I am going to be able to remain light, to hold my light in this space. This is the mission of the Blue Ray. It doesn't mean that those of us who hold this lineage, who have answered this call, do this in every single moment. We are still in human bodies and we are experiencing things. And a lot of times we have incarnated into a life that is filled with a lot of density, a lot of trauma, a lot of pain. We, as young beings, we may have experienced physical abuse or a lot of illness in our physical beingness. Part of this is because we have signed up to go into those deep wounded ancestral lines to help transmute that energy. I was feeling into this recently, over this last couple of days since I received guidance to hold this space, and a stone came through, a crystal. It's called brown tourmaline or dravite. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can feel what is trying to come through." Dravite is an immensely powerful stone for clearing, for transmuting energy. It also needs to be cleaned often because it pulls so much out, because it can move energy so intensely. It also can have it get stuck. And so it needs to be cleaned often. And one of the things I was feeling about those of us who are Blue Ray lineage is that we have so much, especially right now, moving through our systems, that we are also being asked to clear our systems a lot more. And what do I mean by this? Earthing, going to Gaia and saying, can we exchange energies and shift this out? Working with the violet flame is another really important aspect of this. Each night before I go to sleep, I call it up to clear away anything I may have picked up over the course of the day. The blue flame. Those of us who are of the Blue Ray lineage, most of us are also here contracted to help anchor the blue flame into the earth plane. One of the reasons that Blue Ray lineage holders have such an empathic nature is because we have access. We're not living in that place all the time, but we have access to the blue flame, which is the divine spark of life that exists within the deepest chamber of everyone's heart. And I'm being asked to let us feel that for a moment. Everyone who's here live and everyone who's watching on the replay of this, to take a moment and take a breath and take your inner vision and your heart sight into the deepest place in your heart and start to allow yourself to feel a flickering blue flame deep within that space without judgment of how big or how small this blue flame is, how brightly it's flickering, but to allow yourself to start to feel it, to breathe in it, allow oxygen to fuel it. This could be a really beautiful practice in any moment if you're starting to feel ungrounded or like you've picked up too much. You're trying to carry that which you're actually meant to be transmuting. And this is that dravite, that brown tourmaline energy again, right? It's rather than transmuting energy, which is the beautiful ability that blue rays have to go into these places of density, of fear, of pain, of trauma, and walk through and be light in them. It can get stuck in there, and then you forget that it's not yours. It's not yours. You are simply a vessel. You're a channel for it to pass through and find its new highest level of resonance, its new highest place of being. And so coming into that place where that blue flame exists in your heart can help you to feel anything that might be in your system that is not yours to be carrying around. Let me feel here for a minute. No, I'm jumping around a bit. The energies are, oh, pick me, pick me. We're gonna go back into, we're gonna weave back into what it means to be a blue ray, to be of the blue ray lineage, and some of the qualities of this. It's not qualities as in and characteristics as in if you're a blue ray you're probably going to have blue eyes or you're going to look like this, because blue rays are incarnate into every single aspect of human existence. We don't exist like in northern Europe only or in Africa only or in Australia only. We part of this seeding that we've had right now of blue rays is across all ethnicities, all religious backgrounds, all of the various gender identities. Part of what we're here to do is help clean up any toxicity that's been running through any of these systems all over the planet. So we are everywhere. The things that are characteristical traits are intense, profound empathetic ability to really, really feel deeply that which is occurring around you. To the point that when we're really young, we can, and even when we're not so young, we can start to lose track of which emotions are ours and which are those that we are connected into around us. again, this brings us back to bringing in that blue flame and finding ways to clear our energetic systems. One of the pieces, the channeling that has come through really loudly about this blue ray lineage also is that most of us have had incarnations that go all the way back to Lemuria and before, to the beginning times of what we consider kind of human life on this planet. Many of us left pretty early on also and kind of skedaddled and went elsewhere, especially right around the time of the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria, when the dimensional shift, the plane upon which the earth was resonating became really low. There was a deep gash in our systems, and a lot of us took off on one of those. And part of the mission that we're on now is coming back. And so most of us over what we consider the current era will have returned maybe a handful, a dozen times, coming into some really difficult and painful lineages, working through all of the kind of gunk that has occurred in the interim between Lemuria and where we are now. Likely in those times, there was some deep wounds that also came through as a blocking of our connection to our higher self, to our multidimensional self. And most of us in this time have come in with a cognizance, even if we didn't have the words to describe what we were experiencing throughout the time of this incarnation. There was a knowing. Like, I can share for myself, when I was very young, when people would ask me, so where are you from? I would say, well, I don't remember, but it starts with an A. I was not born in a place in this life that starts with an A. But there's this sense of, even like almost from birth, a knowing that there was something more, that we have experienced more. And there's an activation that we're going through in this moment that is helping to wake that up even to an even greater degree. The reason that we have been coming back, and there are some who have been here this entire time coming back, and sometimes the wounds there are even that it's a lot to transmute. If you've literally been incarnating onto this planet as a blue ray since the times of Lemuria, the amount of experiences that you're moving through is a lot. It's really intense. I do know some people like that. I'm more that I took off and I came back. This is also to say that blue rays are not what we would consider walk-ins. A walk-in is like an enlightened being who comes in an incarnation and already knows all of the things. There's it's not that these don't exist, and that there might be some blue rays who have done that, but the standard template of the blue ray is, because we're here to transmute these denser wounded energies, to come in as a walk-in, we might not have the capacity in the same way. Let's feel here. I said earlier that we answered a call. Blue rays have answered a call. And part of this is going all the way back to that beginning of the formation of what we have now as the earthly plane. And talking about these early days of the earthly plane can be very difficult because we're trying to comprehend a space that existed from our 3 to 5D understandings because we're in these physical forms, but this beginning didn't actually exist. It was 7D, 9D. Like it's really hard for us to put it into the physical beingness. But let's see if we can. I'm being said. Let's see if we can. There was a moment, a decision was made that starlight was to start to exist in physical embodied form. Can we feel that for a minute? Starlight was called to begin to exist in embodied physical form. The original templates, the holders of the original design for this project, for this game, came down first and started to build the structures. But in this time, the earth didn't even have it wasn't this beautiful blue marble as people sometimes call it that we have now. It was mostly lava and beautiful, amazing cataclysmic events occurring all over the place, bringing all this energy and fusion together to create the land masses that we now have. So we weren't in physical form at this point. We were light and we were working within the elements. As things started to come together, density began to form. And this is how we came into physical beingness. It was a very long process. And a lot of people developed deep wounds through it because part of the process was is seemingly dissolution of the connection to the lightness. Sometimes this is called the fall or the descent. As excuse me, as we continued to come into embodied form, this fall or descent continued. And most of the beings who were part of this initial project are what we would say are of the Blue Ray lineage. When things got really dense, when we started to get into like 5D, it started to get uncomfortable and a lot of people took off. A lot of people took off. There there's this movie called Mallrats, and for whatever reason it's coming in right now. And there's this one scene where this character, she records she records sexual encounters with people. And they ask for the tape because the guy is there's one guy And she hands the tape to Silent Bob and she says, I don't think I want to be here to see what happens when you do with that tape what I think you're going to do with that tape. And that was kind of the energy. That was kind of the energy of, okay, we got this project rolling. We're here, but I don't think I want to see where we're going, at least not the like really intense dense parts of it. But part of the escape negotiation for those who left as opposed to staying and moving through the full project was a contract to return when it was time to help bring the vibration of the planet back up from the 3D up into the 5 and 7. So, hmm, okay. This is also kind of where the blue flame comes in. With the blue flame, there is this. I'm loving that you said blue star because there is this energy of like the blue stars. I wrote down earlier Sirius, and I also wrote down Neptune, the blue planets. This energy of an intense blue that has not before actually existed. Even in those early days that I was talking about before, when we were just bringing the formation of this Earth project into beingness, the blue flame never fully anchored there. It was not part of the template yet. So those of us who either stayed through this entire journey, and most will have bounced around throughout the cosmos either way. And those who are just now returning over these last couple of 100 years to start to seed this new energy to build up the stamina, to build up the muscle, to build up the heart space so that it can hold the blue flame. Hmm. Sorry, there was something just came in and I had to pause for a moment. Hang on. It's this building up the muscle piece. Wants more space. When we think of seers and shamans of the past, the high priests and priestesses, the Mother Marys and the Mary Magdalenes, the Yeshuas and the Buddhas, the Kuan Yins, the Muhammads, we can see all of these places where someone came in and started to expand our access to our heart space. The times that we're in now have come into a place of, sometimes I say, all hands on deck. Basically, every blue ray has been called in. That's at least every blue ray that's contracted in this way to work with the earth has been called in so that we can not just open up the first chamber of the heart, which is what so much of the last couple thousand, 10,000 years or so has been, but also then open up deeper to that pink energy, to that rose quartz, that unconditional love energy. And through that, access the door that opens us up to the blue flame. And we are here now en masse, seeding this energy. We are here en masse, creating a grid network of transmutation of dark energy. And I don't like using the word dark energy because it's not, it's dense, it's wounds, it's trauma, it's shadow. It's not, okay, let me feel. It's not about evil in the way that we have historically looked at it. It is more about trauma, deep trauma that has been running since that initial separation, since that initial moment of some stayed and some went, since that initial moment of seeming dissolution of the line to the light that we had because we had been so bright before. There's a song that, exactly, healing, transmuting, distortion. Perfect. There's a song that came through as I was pulling in the energies for this cycle that we're entering in right now with the equinox tomorrow, and followed immediately by the Aries new moon, and then Pluto shifting into Aquarius, and then Mars shifting into Cancer. It's this massive push, and part of this massive push is also connecting Pluto and Aquarius. It's connecting our depths to our heights. Aquarius is the higher mind, so it's enabling us to access this shadow shamanic journeying. And this is part of that healing and transmuting distortion as we are being gifted this ability to move this energy through. And that's part of what this access to the blue flame is. It helps. It's a place where you can let it flow through. It holds so much love that it literally burns away the denser energies. And that was why I was finding myself called to share that the blue flame is a place where you can allow anything that might have gotten stuck in your system as you're transmuting and healing this distortion. Back to the song. So the song that came in as I was feeling this is the hymn. It's more of a hymnal than a song, than just a standard pop song. It's Let It Be, by Lennon and McCartney, sung by Paul McCartney. And this song is a calling in of Mother Mary. The entire song is about how the energy of the blue ray of Mother Mary is helping us to access those points. And there's one particular line, one particular section of the song, when the brokenhearted people of the world agree, there will be an answer. Let it be. And as I was feeling this, part of what I was feeling is that as Blue Ray lineage, we are the brokenhearted people. And as we come into a state of agreement, a state of resonance with one another, the answer rises up from within us. And it flows through us, and it helps. We show through our ability to transmute these denser energies, to stay light in those places where most people are broken. we show that it's possible. We show that it's possible. So as we transit through our various dark nights of our soul, as we go into those places where we revisit the traumas of our young selves, whether it's physical abuse or other sorts of trauma, as we go through all of the ways in which we have been wounded and still remain in the light, it shows other people that it's possible. And through that, it expands the grid network of the blue flame and of the blue ray. One of, I think this is probably where we're going to start to close things. I'm feeling if there's a bit of an activation that wants to come through. When we opened today, I guided us all to connect in with that blue flame, whatever it might look like, whatever size it might be, whatever shade of blue. I'm going to guide us to connect back in there again, to really feel deep, 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 deep into your heart space. Allow your breath again to fuel the flame there. I invite us to call upon the energies of Mother Mary or Sophia, of the Archangel Michael, of Kuan Yin. As I have been sharing that we here now incarnate are forming a lattice work of light, of blue ray light across the globe. As you feel into these beautiful ascended masters and angelic beings, start to feel how this grid exists through us, around the globe, and through so many dimensions that the very stars themselves are holding this grid alight. Feel how each of these stars are in fact your brothers and sisters, your mothers and fathers. And so as you are going through the processes of this embodied existence, you are also helping and being helped by all of those stars that are not in embodied form on this plane. And as we feel into that, we start to realize that this project of embodied starlight is creating a template so that every star can eventually, at some point, experience the amazing sensuality, the senses of being physically embodied. And that's part of what we're doing here. Oh, I do feel a call. If there's anyone who has a question about what this Blue Ray lineage might be, this would be a great time. You can pop it into the chat. If you would like to explore this energy further, I'm going to put a link below in the description for the Blue Flame Apothecaries members portal. I'll be facilitating a healing at a sacred site here in San Francisco tomorrow for the equinox there in the members portal. We also have a new moon circle on Tuesday. There's also a beautiful crystal grid that was set up behind me before I started this transmission, and I'll be popping a photo of that into the members portal space. It's on Patreon, and that photo will be available publicly, so you can pop over there. Yes, thank you, Ben. Oh, yes, be blessed, Blue Rays. Oh, thank you, Corey. Beautiful. Love and bliss to you also. Love to you also, Nirvana. Thank you. I'm being guided to share that little practice that we did of connecting into the omnidimensional grid, connecting us to each of the stars, would be a great place to journey also if you're feeling a bit discombobulated or out of sorts, or like you're holding way too much that isn't yours to carry. Feel into this and almost lean into it like a beautiful multidimensional net that can envelop you in a blue and diamond white spider web. And allow it to kind of, you know how spider webs are sticky? Allow it to kind of envelop you. And then as it releases, it can pull all that is not yours anymore off with it. Thank you so much. Thank you, beautiful Blue Ray Starseeds, and all who have come through to help us, to help us anchor through the blue flame. Oh yes, dragon energy is really powerful right now. It's huge. It's energy of unification, and it's very, very, it's part of what we're doing. It's part of what we're doing is coming into that place where we are remembering the fullness of our being. You could say the masculine, feminine, the heights, the depths, but it is that full unification that's dragon power. It's that flame. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing and bringing the dragon in. Oh, joy and play. Oh, thank you all so much for sharing this part of this day with me. I hope you have an amazing equinox. It's such a powerful week that we're going into. It's a little gobsmacking actually, but this is part of what we signed up for. Part of it is that this is what has been written in the stars, right? This is why we're here right now, is to navigate and flow with all of this energy. Oh, thank you so much. With so much and many loves to you from all the dimensions. Mhm.